Hello, Marky Dragon, also known as Marcus Eikenberry in real life, and welcome to another episode of Be Your Own Boss. This one is about losing companies. So in the previous episode, I talked about getting divorced and what kind of effect that had on, the companies that I owned. And I came out of the divorce with really one asset to my name. Actually, more than one. But one physical asset to my name, which was the trademark Marky Dragon. And having, the owning the rights to use the name, the logo, and, the Marky Dragon name has been, it's kind of confusing sometimes because it was what I called my pin name at first. And it was my game name, or still is in many cases, and pen name, because I used to do a lot of writing, even though I'm very dyslexic. It's just harder. And then, and then our website, Marky Dragon, our store, Marky Dragon, all this stuff. So it, I'm happy that I walked away with that, but I lost the other companies, and I lost them in the divorce, and I really didn't feel that was fair. But divorce is never fair, is it? So I, what do you do when you lose everything? And through the whole divorce, I lost my income, my generation of income, which was my primary company. Which went to my ex. And it was in such financial trouble at that point, though, that really what needed to happen was it needed to shut down. And it needed to shut down properly because there was so many people that were owed money. And they were owed money because so much money went missing. And, we had $250,000 disappear from the company. And, that just caused a cascade effect of a whole bunch of problems. And that goes back to staying engaged, which I've talked about before. That this is why now I'm into the financials of the company, at least a couple of times a week. And if I go on vacation for a couple of weeks, fine, I'm on vacation for a couple of weeks. But I'm always in there. So, I make sure that everything's going okay because it needs to go okay. And so, the companies, they were my heart. I built these things. You could equate it to losing a child. I mean, a company is not a child, but it's that loss. It's something that you created. It's something that you molded. That grew up in front of you, and then it's gone. Well, in my case, it's not gone. It's still there. I have no clue how it's still there, but it is. And, so what would someone do in this case? I decided that, even though I lost some huge things, some huge assets that I really needed to take off and be successful, and one was the previous company. We spent nearly $500,000 on programming of our web operations, and I really wanted to take that and use it again. And even if we, bankrupt the company and assets were all sold off or whatnot, this software was so specialized that it wasn't worth anything when it comes to someone else doing it, because nobody did what we do. Nobody, and so, there were some similarities. There were some functions that we had that other people did, but nobody did the complete package. And then there was the customer database. Now, the customer database, yeah, I would say that was worth something. And I would say that was worth as much as $2 per customer in the database. Now, our privacy policy said that the customer database would never be sold. And so it never was. even though that that customer database was we probably could have gotten, I know I say, maybe $2 per person, but in reality, if it went up on auction or whatnot, it would probably go somewhere for between 50 and 150,000, even though there's a lot more people in there than the $2 per person that I give it. But we never went that route, and I guess that's important to know that I didn't try and do that. Now that I don't own the company, they could change privacy policy and they can do whatever they want. But I wanted that customer list so that I could ping everybody and say, hey, we shut down. That was bad. And here we are again, rebuilding. And we would lose customers from that. We would lose some faith and everything. But, that was an important part of getting back out there and rebuilding. But instead, all I had was my name. So it's been a couple years now that I've been working on the new game code store, and it's store.markydragon.com. And I feel pretty proud of how far we've come, because it is something that was built from scratch. One of the things I learned about that was that even though we spent this $500,000 or so in the development of the previous company, and this new company where we're selling game codes is very, very similar, there was a lot of things that were in there that didn't matter. And there was a lot of things that just made things nicer, but didn't matter. And so we picked out the really important parts and put that together to build a new store. What's really interesting is that we've been able to have some great success. So I'm very proud of that. Now, would it have been easier if I had those other tools with me? Absolutely. As it was, if I had those other assets, I would not have had to take loans to get the company started. And as it was, I had to take some very high interest loans, because the risk was very high. Now, even though I had proven that I had done this in the past and I could do this, and the people that were investing in us to get this up and running, had a lot of faith in me, there still was a good amount of risk. And so the payouts were pretty incredible. The first person who went in got 100% payout in, I think, about 6 months. And the second and third person to get in got about a 50% payout over 6 months. And if you think about that, when somebody's putting in, 10, 20, 30,000 bucks, and over 6 months, you can turn your 10 into 15 or 20. That's an amazing payout. But we did that because we knew that there was risk in there, and it had to be a really, really advantageous deal, and it had to be something that we could pay back as well. Thank God we hit the mark. So, yay team. I think that the kind of the roundabout of all of this is that you don't have to, because you lose your company for whatever reason, whether you made mistakes, which that could be attributed to all of this, or whether you had I don't know, you had a fire at your business and it took it out, or you had whatever happened, market conditions change. Just because everything is gone doesn't mean that your knowledge that you have in your head is not worth something, because that's what I ended up doing. I had my Marky Dragon name, and I had the know-how to do this, and the knowingness of what worked well and what didn't. and we sat down and we really looked at things and we said, what really matters? And you know what? There was a lot of things on our list that we thought was really important. But when you actually pick each item apart and you say you have to live within this budget to start, that there's so many things that you think are so important that really don't matter. And you're able to be successful anyway. And would those be nicer? Yeah. Would they cause more overhead? Yeah. Would they have cost me more in operations today if we had put them in than, not having put them in? That's a wash. And the reason I say that is because automation always pays for itself. If you can automate over having humans do it, you're gonna win, because humans are the most expensive part of any company. The payroll is what kills companies. If we didn't have, payroll at our company, I'd be rich again. You like that word? I made it up. Yeah. Rich with an F in front. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, that's not the case. We couldn't put in all that automation, and we've put in some of the automation now. But that's something that, really, in all honesty, that automation should come when you can't handle the work, and when you have to either hire another person or pay a programmer to put in more automation. Because when you pay them, you're giving, maybe a month's wages to put this feature in. And, how much time would it take? Well, maybe it takes a year to pay off. But after that year, it's all profit. So anyway, if you lose your companies, it's not the end of the world. Pick yourself up. You can do it again. I know this because I've done it. And, will I do it again? Let's say this one explodes. Will I do it again? Absolutely. Will it be in the exact same thing? Who knows? You got to look at what market conditions are at the time. So anyway, that is my thoughts on losing your company. Do subscribe and take care. And thank you for watching.